What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. If you guys are on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, thank you guys for tuning in every single week. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, to the podcast on these other platforms in general, thank you guys. My name is Ulysses Benitez, and this is Welcome to the Need It Podcast with Ulysses Benitez. I haven't done that in a while, but we are back, episode number 12. This is one that I didn't expect to happen so soon. Actually, I'm going to explain what ended up happening. So I did have a mental health episode that I wanted to do with a friend of mine, and I had some issues, some technical difficulties, but thankfully, you know, I have this guest that I was able to bring on today. A lot of you guys already know her. Yeah, so you guys already recognize the voice. So let me just introduce her the right way. Yvette. Thank you, Yvette, for coming. I know this is a big moment for you.
Very. Thank you for having me, sir.
Are you a little nervous?
Very.
She's so nervous, guys. Like, I had to literally beg her to be on this episode. I think she knew she was going to be in it, and it was just one of those episodes that I was just kind of keeping for the right time. And, you know, as you guys know, a lot of these people that I've been having in season 1 are from Stockton, so they have to make their way. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and I didn't want to just drop the episode because I could have dropped one with her like right in the beginning, but I wanted to really just save it for the right time. So it happened to be today. So that episode I was telling you guys about, I ended up messing up the video. I had some issues with my camera, and worst come to worst, you know, I said, you know what, let's just do this episode already. I think people will like it. So, dude, I'm out of breath. Okay, so yeah, sorry. So moving forward, you know, we're here. So there's a lot of things to talk about, Yvette. Thank you for coming. For those that don't know, she is my wife's niece, little Yvette.
The little sister he never wanted.
Right, little sister I never wanted. Literally, it's like pretty much you and Karina are the same to me, right? Like, yes. I'm always telling you guys stuff and being on you, trying to give you guys like a little lecture.
Every single day.
Yeah, but it's funny because last time I think your mom was here, and then you were telling her like, oh, he's mean to me.
He bullies me all the time.
Yeah, but I was like, I mean, who else is gonna tell you?
Oh yeah,
we're all grown ups already, right? So yeah. How are you doing?
Doing good, just chilling.
How old are you now, Yvette?
I am gonna be 24 this year.
24, yes. And that's December, right?
Yes.
24 in December. That's a good age. Sagittarius season. She's all about the horoscopes, right?
I am.
So so how are Sagittarius?
We're very special people, but there's so much more than just like your sun sign. There's like your moon, your rising, and then it's like a whole birth chart kind of deal, but you really have to be into it for you to get it.
Yeah. Honestly. So for those that don't know, the horoscopes, I feel like I've been into them just like, let's say you read your daily one, right?
Yeah.
But I've never been too deep. But Blanca was telling me about like the rising and the moon and all this stuff. So I believe that mine was a Leo rising, so everybody sees me as a Leo. Yes. Like, so how can you explain that?
So your rising Leo is how people perceive you, and then your moon, do you know your moon?
I don't know.
So your moon is what you feel, how you react to things. So it's not just your sun sign, because you're an Aquarius, right?
Yeah, I'm an Aquarius.
So that's what the month you were born in, so that's why you were assigned Aquarius. But it depends on the time, then that's when you would determine what your moon and your rising is.
Right. So everybody sees me as a Leo. And I think that makes sense because a lot of people get kind of intimidated with me.
Very. So, I just feel like he comes off very like confident, and a lot of people can be very like, oh, maybe he's cocky.
Yeah. There's a difference, confident and cocky.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But you're not cocky. I feel like you're confident. There's a difference. Like you said, there's a difference, and you're very like confident. So.
That's cool. Maybe we could explain a little bit more about that in the future, but she's all into that, and then her birthday's coming up, so that's cool. So many things to talk about, Yvette. I don't even know where to start. I mean,
ask away.
So let me see. I'm gonna start with a simple question. Now that you're out here, you are roommates with Karina now.
Yes.
You guys are living together. So how's it been being in your own spot now, coming from, obviously you were in Stockton living with your parents, and then I guess all of us were, right? Because we were all still
well, in the beginning, it was kind of hard just because, like, obviously I lived with you guys for, what, 3 years?
Right, you did. I forgot about that stage in my life. I thought you literally moved from your parents to LA. I don't know.
No, I was with you guys for, like, I was 19 when I moved in with you guys, I believe. And then I moved out when you guys moved over here. And I moved back in with my parents for, like, 3 months, oh my God, I just did not like it.
It wasn't good?
No, because it just felt like I went from doing whatever I wanted to like having to ask my mom for permission to do things again. And then COVID happened. So it was just like an overwhelming time for me. So then when I moved out here, I moved in May, and it was not an easy transition just because I did miss my family a lot. And even though you guys were here, it did feel like a very like lonely time, because I would tell Blanca all the time, like, she's married, she has her husband and her kids. So it's a different, like, Javi and Karina, like, they had like their family and then their daughter, and then there was me. Right. So it was a very like different transition, but I like it so far. It's good.
You were literally in the middle of everything.
Yeah. And with fucking couples and like families, and then there was just me.
Are you the middle child or you're the oldest?
I'm
right?
The oldest.
Yeah, you're the oldest.
The oldest.
I'm the middle child.
Yeah.
Dang. So yeah, we were having you there at the house before. I think that's before Max was born, huh? You were already there?
Yeah, I moved in like 2 months before you guys found out Max. I mean, you guys were pregnant with Max. Right.
So we had our fun times there, and then we had Max. So you helped us a lot with Max. So you really saw Max grow, like, since he was super little, yeah. So you would take care of him, and then we moved from that house into the other one. We didn't even last that long.
No, it was probably like, what, 5-6 months?
A couple months, yeah. That house was cool. I miss it.
Yeah, it was a nice house.
It was good for what it was. So moving forward, moved to LA, and I think now that the COVID, pretty much the main thing happened already, now you kind of look back and you're, I guess, reflecting on just moving in general and realizing, like, damn, we really did move away from everything we know.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I tell Karina all the time, like, I feel like we never pay attention to the things that we have accomplished, and we always think about, like, other stuff that we can possibly be doing, and we don't realize, like, fuck, a lot of people wish to come out here in LA, live that LA life.
It's always the dream. I think sometimes you guys get too caught up in, let's say, missing your family, or also not saying that that's negative, but you're still living in the past somehow.
No, of course.
And you're not really living in the moment and realizing all the opportunities that you guys have right now, how much free time you guys have, or maybe not so much free time, but how to prioritize your time and actually make it like useful. I mean, I feel like here everything's about work. You know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So how has that been transitioning for you? Because I know that you were kind of in and out of YouTube back in Stockton. It's definitely a lot more comfortable for you there because you didn't really feel the need to work all the time, and you didn't really have like a setting to be able to work. So now being in your own spot and having, you know, even more time to work, I mean, how's that going?
I feel like it's definitely different. I felt like over there in Stockton, it was very easy. Like, it was a very easy life. And then here, like, obviously, like, I have bills to pay and everything. So now I have a routine that's working for me, and obviously, like, I'm working more and like doing a lot more than I was before, which I really like, just because
it's challenging, right?
It is very challenging, yeah. But like, you know how I told you the other day, like, I want to move to New York and stuff?
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, like, if I move to New York, everything's here.
Right.
Literally. And then there's some ideas that I've been like trying to like come up with to do with my life, you know, trying to find a purpose and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, fuck, if I move to New York, that's going to be a lot harder.
Right.
Because everything's here.
So that's really like one of the main things that I wanted to touch on today was like finding your purpose, finding yourself, like self-love. I think those are so important, and it starts with obviously self-love, and then it moves on to figuring out what you really want to do and enjoying it at that.
Of course, yeah.
So, you know, what do you feel like is your purpose, or are you still trying to figure that out? I think a lot of people could relate if you can't. So
I feel like I was having a conversation with Blanca the other day, and she was telling me like nobody ever really finds their purpose. Yeah. Like, nobody really knows their purpose, and I feel like I want to find my purpose. And I don't think I'll find it until I start traveling. I feel like that's what I need to do in order to find myself and what I want to do with myself. So that's why I'm like, oh, I want to move to New York. Maybe that'll give me the opportunity to be more out there. Because like you told me the other day, you're like, you don't even leave your apartment. Which I don't.
I did tell her that. I was like, bro, you don't even cross the street.
I don't. I'm very antisocial. Like, I don't like being around people so much, but I feel like I need to get out of my comfort zone, and maybe in New York it'll push me since I don't know anybody. Well,
the cool thing about over there is that, like, let's say you really live in the city, you will literally walk to everything, so you don't really need a car. Because I heard that you don't even they don't recommend you to even have a car there if you live in the actual city. So just walk around, and you'd be surprised, like, when you actually walk, you see a lot more, you get the feel of everything, as opposed to you driving, you're passing through everything. So I don't know. At the same time, you probably do have to just take that risk, because it's at the end of the day, like, it's cliche, but you only live once, and it's true. Yeah. You should go out there and experience the things that you want, and if traveling is calling your name, then just do it.
It is. It really is. But then I start to think, like, fuck, am I really going to leave, like, my whole family?
Sometimes you have to. Trust me, like, for example, me, I was doing everything for me at a very young age.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, I was just fully committed to cutting hair.
Right.
So I missed out on a lot of stuff with family. Like, even just when I was cutting at home, I would literally be in the garage all day. And then after that, I just started being at work all day. So I would literally get home, everybody's sleeping. And then the years went by. But then later, you get to have that time after you worked hard for whatever it is that you have now. And I think a lot of people try to skip those steps. You know, you want to chill, be with the fam now. But in reality, you have to work on yourself and you have to figure out what you want to do for you. Yeah. So I think that's why it's important for you to just take those risks. And I think you're going to find yourself being happier there instead of having it in your mind and, you know, having that doubt of, you know, what, man, maybe I should have done this last year or whatever. So it's just like, screw it, go do it. Yeah,
that's why I'm like, okay, I'm just do it because I don't want to have that like, fuck, I should have done this or I should have done that. Like, I don't want to keep questioning stuff because I overthink a lot. Right. And I'd rather just like take that risk. And if I don't like it, then I can just come back.
Yeah. I mean, you already know that there's always a home here and stuff and even back in Stockton. So you have multiple places now. I think for a long time out here it was scary because it's so big. But I feel like we truly have found like a home. Yes. So now you kind of get familiar with the area. And it takes time. I hear in LA, really, it takes a couple of years until you really get to
settle in
and figure out what you want to do. Even for me, you know, I've had those moments where I question myself of what I'm doing right now. And it's kind of scary, you know, because I think I've had a couple of those. I think it's called like an epiphany or something like that. Epiphany, where you just literally sit there and you're like questioning stuff. But it's scary, you know, it's scary, especially when you've already done a lot. Mm-hmm. So me, I mean, I feel like I was already at the top of my game when I was in Stockton as far as cutting. Yeah. I never really expanded on this, like even just on YouTube. But thankfully by moving, I was able to start this. And then the cutting, it's like me starting all over here. It makes me feel like I'm going backwards. And sometimes it has to do with like an ego. Right. So you got to put that aside and say, you know what, I'm starting from zero again. Yeah.
It's because people don't like change.
They don't.
They don't like being uncomfortable.
And you don't realize it sometimes when you're going through those things because you're just so much like thinking ahead that you're not really realizing where you're at right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's kind of like just having those self-reflection like meetings with yourself and just, you know, figuring out what you want to do. So, I mean, I think it's gonna be good with time. You just have to actually go for it because if not, nothing's gonna change.
Yeah. Well, I keep thinking like, okay, am I having these thoughts like maybe I should move to New York because I haven't explored LA? Like we really haven't realistically.
Yeah. But I think also sometimes you depend on us to be able to like go out and do stuff when you should just go out and do it.
But I don't have friends. Am I gonna go by myself? Oh, but that's what I'm trying to do in New York, right?
No, but in general, like you should just go and explore certain things. I don't know. It could be anything. It doesn't really matter. It is a little scary and you're going to have those moments where you're going to question why you're even there. But those are the moments where you got to just keep pushing through because then it'll make sense later. Yeah. And I think that's the only way to really learn to be able to like trip and fall and all that crap. So you have to just go and do it. Right. I mean, I even do stuff nowadays where I'm like, I already know this isn't worth it. But then again, I try to look at the positive side of it. Yeah. And what other places are calling your attention other than New York?
Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just really like the whole city vibe. And I know out here it's like city vibes, but I feel like it's a
little like, dirty.
Very.
Yeah. It's a little dirty.
Well, New York isn't the cleanest either, but I don't know why New York for some reason just has always like caught my attention after we went that one time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It just seems like a very like interesting city to live in, and TikToks have been popping up. So I'm just like, okay, that's just more and more convincing.
Yeah, it's a sign. Pay attention to the signs. I don't think people do that a lot.
I know, seriously. But sometimes the signs, they can be telling you like, oh, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like following your gut.
Yeah.
We're in some very deep thoughts right now.
For real. So this is why I don't like doing stuff like this because I just start thinking about so many things.
So many things. Huh? It's funny. Before we moved here, I was seeing the signs though. Like I was seeing certain things that were just pointing me in the direction. Like like you have to move because for a long time I didn't. Like it was scary when Blanca said we have to move. I was like, really? Like I kept kind of ignoring it, and then it came to a day where it happened, and it was just one of those things. But once I started putting in my mindset, like, okay, like I'm fully committed to moving, and it's okay, it's gonna work out. Then I started paying attention to the signs, and I was seeing certain things. It could be whatever, you know. You could be on the street, or you could tie things together, you know, little experiences here and there that you go through on a daily basis, and you'll start, you know, connecting the dots. So it's a trip.
Yeah. But realistically, did you ever imagine yourself living out here?
I feel like I always wanted to since I was a little kid.
To move out here in LA?
I feel like I always liked it coming as a kid, and I felt like it was a place that I wanted to come to. But a lot of people don't know, like, we didn't move because we wanted to. It was more so because it just had to happen.
Yeah.
There were some things going on.
Yeah.
But actually, years before that, when Blanca and I actually got married, I was coming out here as a guest barber. I did it a couple of times. And I did it because I wanted to see if I was going to get booked.
Yeah.
If I liked it, to get a feel for it. I didn't even have a shop yet.
Yeah.
But I was out here testing it because we were going to move. And I said, let's do it. But at the time, she was so, I guess.
Like starting up with like the whole YouTube stuff, right?
Well, she was starting with that. She didn't really know what she wanted to do with work. She wasn't really doing YouTube yet.
Yeah.
But I think the plan was for her to move and to do YouTube full time. So it was a pretty big jump. It was a little scary. And we were, dating and then barely got married. So a lot of things were very fresh. And she felt like she didn't really spend so much time with her family because previous years she just was always out and about working and whatnot. So I think she just wanted to really just get that back in motion. So it didn't work out, but that plan was, years back. Now that I'm here, it's, it's dope, very inspiring. I feel like you could literally feel like you're on top, and other days it feels, a little overwhelming, but at the same time, it's good that we're able to go back home and kind of take that break and then come back and
for sure
and get motivated again. But in terms of work, how's the YouTube going for you?
I haven't posted in months, honestly.
Really? Months?
Yeah, since like May, I think I haven't posted.
Oh man.
I don't know why. I don't know. Like I like YouTube, but I feel like it's a very toxic like place to be in mentally, just because like people are so mean on there. Yeah. So I felt like I just needed to like get away.
Is that why you didn't want to be on this podcast at first?
I don't know. I just don't like talking about like life. It makes me nervous, and I don't know. You be pulling up some questions that just make me overthink so much. So I'm just like, I don't know.
It's they kind of just, they're like,
he be asking questions like deep ass questions, and you're just like, damn, like I should start thinking about life now.
Yeah, but you have to, man. I mean, that's just how it is. We're grown-ups now. This is part of it. It's gonna keep going. So you gotta face your fears.
Right.
So you haven't posted since May. And what was your content? Really, just straight up makeup?
No, well, I was doing like makeup. I was doing blogging. Just different stuff like fashion.
Right. What do you like the most out of that?
The vlogging. I feel like it's more fun just because people get to see a little bit more of your life.
Right. A little more of you, like instead of it being.
And I
so
feel like
perfect.
that's what people like mostly with makeup. A lot of people don't really care about makeup anymore. I feel like those do good on TikTok, and that's why I've been focusing a lot on TikTok about doing like makeup videos. But like on YouTube, people don't care about that anymore. Right.
It's a trip, I've been noticing. I mean, I have several episodes now, right? And I start to notice which ones do better than others. Sometimes it's just. It's not even so much of the person, but it's also the stuff that you talk about and the topics. But I have like a lot of good episodes, guys. So if you guys see like a business one, if you guys see motivational style videos, don't hesitate to click. I really encourage you guys to actually click them and watch them, because you guys are going to learn something from every single episode I have on this season. Like, it's not just BS talk or random crap. Like, it's stuff that's going to benefit you. And it's also just some good conversations to topics that we could shed some light on. So make sure you guys check those out. I mean, right now we're in episode 12, and that's 12. That's 12 weeks. That's literally like 3 months.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
3 months worth, and then it's gonna keep going. There's a couple of people I want to get on here, but season 1's almost gonna end, and I'm excited to start season 2 though. It's definitely gonna be a little different. I'm switching up my setup a bit, and it always has to improve. So I'm already working on that, and then now my plan is to have different guests, people that I'm going to meet for the first time. They're going to be more like invited, and then we're going to do an episode. So that's going to be more nervous
for you,
for me. Yeah. Because I'm literally going to be meeting this person for the first time and actually talking to them, but it's going to be cool.
That's true, because all the people you've had, it's people that you know.
It's people that I know. So it's easy. Yeah. It's going to take a lot more preparation for me. So it's a challenge, but like I said, you just got to do it. So I'm going to start reaching out to people soon and start booking those dates. So that's what it's going to be like. I'm literally going to have to reach out and book them for every single week. And make sure that it's like on time, like every Tuesday at, let's say I'm going to get somebody to come at 10 a.m. and then we're going to do an episode. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm already planning ahead, but
that's going to be fun. Yeah. Something different.
It's going to be cool. A lot of people have reached out if I'm going to have like more influencers, different people. So I have a list of people that I want to get on here, so you guys will see. But if you guys have anybody in specific that you guys want, make sure you guys drop a comment on the YouTube here below. If you guys are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure you guys tune in and actually watch the video. I feel like sometimes people listen to it, but they don't watch it, and it's different.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's easier just because people are like doing stuff throughout their day.
Yeah.
And it's easier to just like,
it's easier for you to listen, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. With me, it's hard for me to watch the video, but if I am on the road, I'll put it on real quick and then I'll be able to listen to it. So that's what I've always been into podcasts, and it's kind of crazy that now I have mine and people are really tuning in like religiously.
Yeah.
Every week, which was the scariest part for me because I was so excited to start this. I invested so much, and it's like, what if people don't like it?
Right.
Like, that's going to determine if I even want to even do YouTube now.
Yeah.
But
I think it's cool. Here. Like, I feel like you always try to do something new.
Yeah.
Like, you're not scared to do something different.
Yeah. A lot of people they look up to me in that sense where I'm just always going for more. They're always asking what's next, or they're asking, like, how do you not care about what people think? And
right.
I don't know. I just feel like there's so much to do that I don't have time to be sitting there paying attention to like the negative stuff. And I think sometimes it's good because you guys have that around you. I think you guys just have to use it more. Like you and Karina, I always tell you guys.
Yeah.
Like, you guys just got to be more consistent, and figure out what it is. You're only gonna know until you try and mess up a little bit, and you'll start figuring out what you want to do.
But it's like I said, like people are scared of change. I'm scared of change. I feel like it's not easy to know that you can possibly fail in something.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling. Like, I don't like feeling like I'm going to fail. So I feel like I'd rather just not do it, which kind of sucks because, like, now I don't do anything.
Right.
So I'm just like, fuck, like, maybe I should take that jump and be like, okay, you know what? If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out.
Yeah, but you're going to adapt no matter what because you have a goal, and when you actually go after it, you're going to start shifting. It's not going to be a straight road, literally. You're going to be having a detour and whatnot, but within that, you're going to find either the same thing at the end or something even better.
Right.
So you're going to learn, and you're going to put all that together at the end, and then it's going to work out somehow, some way. I think that's the thought I have. And that's why a lot of the times in the process when I'm doing something, I don't really get fazed by little instances where things don't go right because I already know it's just part of it. So I kind of like brush it off. I'm just like, see, I'm getting tested right now. Like God's testing me right now for sure because for some reason, like I'm gonna take this as a good sign or as a bad sign, but you'll know, trust me, you'll know like what
I take all the bad signs.
I don't know. You have to think positive, but like literally when I'm doing some shit, like I'll know like, okay, like this is part of it. And it's just kind of funny because it's happening. So it feels so surreal, but it's part of whatever it is that I'm after. And that's why I think I already have a good understanding, and there's always more to do. I feel like right now I did a lot this year, even though it was a year that there were so many bad things going on, but there's a lot of good things that came out of it too. I feel like I'm slowly starting to figure out what I want to do out here, and trying to kind of like water every plant too, because I have so many things going on. It's hard to be perfect at all of them.
Of course. Yeah.
And I always tell you about that. Like there's the cutting, and there's the clothing, and then it's the house and the kids and Blanca and everything.
And you see, like I think about that stuff. Like you have so much, like you have your family, you know, your house, and then there's me. I don't have anything, and I'm just like, fuck, my life is so horrible.
Yeah,
you know
or I mean? It's so hard.
It's so hard, but realistically, like I have nothing to worry about but myself, and it's like I don't even do that for myself. And I feel like I've gone through I've gone through like different stages where, like, especially during COVID time, like you have a lot of time. Yeah, you know what I mean. And a lot of people were saying like, take this time to like figure out what you want to do and start a business and all of that. And I didn't even do any of it. And I feel like throughout that time, it was just more like self-love. Like you said, it's like self-love and learning about myself and like what I want to do. And I feel like, well, I deal with like depression and like anxiety. So I feel like throughout that time, it was like a very like difficult time for me. But I feel like you have to stop feeling sorry for yourself and like just do something.
Yeah. You have to find what's going to, that stuff is going to be there. Depression, anxiety. And
for sure.
Like I told you about the episode, the mental health one, like you're going to really like that one when you listen to it. Because the person that I have on is literally a professional in that field. And we were talking about all this stuff and those patterns that happen. So you got to figure out a way to get out of that. Yeah. You can't really get stuck in it because then it'll eat you up.
Oh, for sure.
But when you're going through anxiety and depression at the same time, like you feel it.
Well, anxiety, I have it throughout like my days. Yeah. Like I'm a very anxious person throughout my day. I don't really have like, I feel like there's different levels of like depression and like anxiety. I want to say I have like a mild anxiety, just because it's not like I have anxiety attacks or anything like that. It's just me feeling anxious throughout my day. And then when like the depression will like, it'll come and it'll be here and I'll be like in a very, very like dark hole, and then it'll go away.
Okay, so
And then
it's
it
just
comes,
like black
it's
and
just
white.
episodes. It's just episodes that I'll have where I just don't want to do shit. Just want to lay in bed, like not talk to anybody. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
And then when I'm over it, like I'm super, super happy. And I feel like everybody can tell
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like in a good ass mood or when I'm in like a horrible mood.
Yeah, Yvette's literally like either it's very up or very down.
Yeah.
Like there's really no in between.
No. Like you can tell when
So-
I'm upset or something's bothering me or when I'm like in a really, really good mood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, at least you know that. At least you could really get through those moments just by yourself.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like you just need your space and your time,
Yeah.
and it happens. You know, I have my bad days too, where I'm just like in a bad mood or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
then the next day you're in a really good mood, and
Yeah.
it sucks because that's just how life is now. Like it's never gonna be like when we were little and shit was just easy,
Right.
and all you had to worry about was just playing and having fun.
Mhm.
Now it's just doing adult things and
Adult.
taking risks and being able to maneuver through like all those times, whether like
Yeah.
you're in a really good spot or whether it's down. So I think you'll figure it out little by little. I don't
sure.
think you should be too hard on yourself. You're super young still.
And
at
I feel
least-
like with that, it's also hard because it's like I feel like social media doesn't help. Because like you see people, like I see people that I went to high school with, they're graduating college, getting married, having kids, buying houses, and then there's me.
Right. No, but you should never compare yourself. And you know what's crazy? Like I don't even want to touch too much on the actual episode, the mental health one, but we were talking about all that stuff. Like just the
Yeah.
fact that I'm so glad actually that I didn't even follow through with that episode because we actually missed the social media part of it. But
Right.
he was really diving into the fact that how much social media comes into play and
Oh,
how
definitely.
it's so easy for us to just kind of put ourselves in this position where we're just pointing at people and saying, how come it's working out for them and not for me? But you got to just focus on your journey and your
Right.
path.
Yeah.
And not realize like everybody's at different points in their life. And I think me being with Blanca, for example, first of all, she's like a year and a half older.
Yeah.
So her mindset was already a little ahead, believe it or not. It was just
Yeah.
already like she had stuff going on and she never really told me anything like you got to hurry up, but I was just with that pressure of like, damn, like
Right.
I got to work harder, you know,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
good. And I think that's why shit so happened so fast for me
Right.
because I was just always pushing and pushing and I use that as fuel, not so much as like a downfall or like a comparison like, oh damn, like she's doing good and I'm not right now. I'm
Right,
super
right.
young, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it was just using it as fuel. And I think that's what you should look at it as, like motivation.
Right.
And I think it's just like shifting your perspective because we could both literally be looking at the same thing right now. And I bet you our thoughts are going to be completely
Oh,
different.
definitely. Yeah.
So you're looking at the bad stuff or whatever, and I could be looking at the good stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just like you have to slowly start changing that.
Right.
And I think you'll start looking at life a lot better,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's crazy. I mean, it's so simple yet so hard, right?
Oh, yes. And
So-
especially if you're like an overthinker. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm an overthinker and your head is, your mind is very powerful.
Well, it is the most powerful thing, I think.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the most powerful thing. And, you know, I think you just have to learn how to work with the way you are.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we all like slowly figure out ourselves
Mm-hmm.
as we go, but you got to go and try things. That's how you're going to find more out about you.
Yeah.
You're going to discover things about yourself. And that's the interesting part. That's the fun part about it. All right. So before we end it, I do want to just pretty much ask you like what's really coming for you. What do you plan on working on in the next few months? I know the year's going to be ending soon. It's going to be a new year. So
Yeah.
let's just end it with that. Like, what are your plans to end the year? What are some changes you want to make?
Well, I'm working on some stuff right now. There's a couple ideas that have been like popping in my head that I kind of want to do, like businesses wise. So I've just been trying to like work on that, work on like my self-love. Like we just moved into our new apartment, so I've just been focusing on that too, trying to get it like all situated and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it, honestly.
That's good.
Pretty simple.
I think it's going to start at home though. Get your home stuff right.
Yeah.
And then from there go. Like
Yeah.
right now, you know, we're pretty much almost done with the house.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm finally starting to slowly get some peace.
Yes.
Miguel was actually here for a full week and he helped me a lot with just
Yeah.
like a helping hand, you know, like
No, for
with me
sure,
for some
yeah.
reason, I could only really work well if I have somebody else there with me. It's not like they're going to do the whole work, but I just like having some type of help for
does.
some reason. I just can't do it by myself. And it's weird how that works. Like
No,
I'm
it
just,
is better to have somebody there just to, you know.
it's
make
just
it
a
go-
helping hand
No,
and,
for
and,
sure,
and
yeah.
it just goes by a little bit
It
faster.
does, yeah.
You know, too, like at home, like you probably feel the same way when it comes to actually moving a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not organizing, but when you have a lot of stuff there,
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't work well like that. It's like a little
And I'm pretty sure
overwhelming
you
for
guys
me.
are starting to get back into like a routine of like doing like your old stuff. I know like Blanca was mentioning that she didn't like the fact that you guys were taking so long with the house.
Yeah.
And that she didn't have a routine.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, we've been talking about that in a few episodes that right now we're starting to figure out a routine, and it all starts at home, like I said. So now that the house is pretty much almost done, we're just doing some final stuff like furniture and stuff like that, but we should be good for a minute, and then we'll start figuring out a routine. I finally have a closet now, you know, our shower, everything works, just small stuff here and there, but that'll come with time and things will start getting better. Same thing for you, you know, just figure out your stuff at home, and then I'm sure that everything in terms of work is going to just follow. So
definitely.
At this point, you got to just have positive mindset, write things down, whatever works for you. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like writing it down on a pen and a paper or actually on your notes, but the routine part is super important. I spoke about that in the last episode in the business one, and how to kind of just approach your day.
Yeah. And well, he tells me all the time, like, wake up early. You will have so much time to do so many things. And I'm just like, I don't want to wake up early.
Okay, so see, sometimes you think that you're not going to have anything to do, but I think you have to give yourself stuff to do. Like, we don't have a job. Like, our job is whatever we make it. We determine how successful we really want to be. So you got to get up and actually, like, challenge yourself every day.
And I feel like that's the hardest thing, though. Like, I feel like people think, like, oh, you're self-employed. It must be easy. But it's like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, creative and think about new things that you should be doing, like, on social media and all that stuff. So it's difficult sometimes.
It's a challenge for sure. And I have trouble with that too. You know, I barely started posting on one of my other pages. Yeah. And it's just that creative part of it. And
for sure.
And the consistency part after that, and so on and so forth. So I'm sure things will get better. Just, I think you know what you got to do, Yvette. You just got to do it. I think before you were a little naive to some stuff, but I think you already know what it takes.
For sure. And especially like being around you guys are also very like motivated.
Right. So which is like, crazy because like you should just be using that as.
I know. But I don't. I'm just like, fuck, okay, I'm not going to be able to do that. And it's just about comparing myself.
Right. And I think you just beat your own self up. If anything.
We're our worst critics all the time. So
always. I think I was like that in the beginning too. Not so much. I never really was a person that was, you know, an early bird and stuff. I think I just started like training myself to be that way. Yeah. And you got to do it, man. You got to do it. So you'll figure it out. We'll see what happens.
Eventually. Stay tuned for all the new things.
Yes, stay tuned. Best of luck, Yvette. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. I'm sure everybody's going to love this episode. I'm sure they're looking forward. There was a lot of comments, you know, before about you being on here. So thank you for coming. We finally did it. I will see you guys next week on the Need It podcast. If you guys made it through the entire episode, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you guys for taking these 25 to 30 minutes to just tune in and hear us out. Drop a comment on what is your favorite part about this episode, and I will see you guys next week. Deuces.
Bye.